Hi, happy Thursday, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. It's been a little crazy this week. That's why I only have two cards. I was going to make a 3D item, and it's been one of those weeks. We had a graduation party to go to on Long Island over the weekend, and we did that. And it was for my granddaughter, and I got to see all my children and grandchildren. And we got home on Monday. We picked up Sheba, and then Tuesday and Wednesday, and today we had doctor's appointments. So it's been crazy, but I hope everybody's doing well. And tonight I decided to play with the Dainty Delight, hey do, stamp set and matching dies. And as you can see, I'm also using the double oval punch. And let me just see. I chose to use this die here for my sentiment. Hey, Margaret, how you feeling, honey? And this is from the Natural Prints dies. And then, believe it or not, this card here with the bouquet of flowers. Hey, Karen. The holder for the flowers, believe it or not, is the ice cream cone die from Share a Milkshake. So I used a couple different die sets for these cards and still made them as simple as can be. So we're going to start with this card here. I'm using Basic White and Balmy Blue. And we're going to start with our card base, 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. And I'm just looking. Oh, here it is. I just want to remind everybody that today is what, the 29th. Tomorrow ends the designers. Hey, Nan, how are you, honey? Bill and I are doing okay. Hey, Mimi Cakes. Hey, Karen. Tomorrow ends the designer series paper sale, the 15% off, and also the join promotion is also ending tomorrow. So if any of those interest you, make sure you hit them before time runs out. Okay. All right. So Basic White, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then I am going to layer it up, of course, with some Balmy Blue. And Balmy Blue is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And then Basic White, 5 1/4 by 4. And I ran this through the cut and emboss machine with the Time Worn Type 3D embossing folder. Hopefully I have some glue in here. I've run out so quick. Yeah, Bill and I are doing okay. His last bladder test after the procedure has him cancer-free right now, and the urologist wants to keep him that way. So we will be starting treatments probably at the end of July. So I'm just adhering the Basic White to the Balmy Blue, and then the Balmy Blue to the front of the card. And the reason we're starting at the end of July is because we have to start seeing a GI doctor for his liver. We have a feeling that his liver is starting to fail. He's still been so sick. You remember we called the ambulance 2 weeks ago Monday, I guess it was. And he's been feeling exactly the same way ever since. Yeah, definitely, Karen. All right, so there's the front of our card. So we'll see what happens. We had an appointment today, and that's what the doctor wants to do now. Look to see what's going on with his liver. All right, let's see. I'm looking for my dies. I'm gonna have to run some things through the die cutting machine. So what I did was, this is the ice cream cone. I don't know if you can see the little grooves in it for the ice cream cone. I'm just going to grab my tiny little blending brush, and I'm going to grab some Balmy Blue ink. And all I'm going to do is ink this up, and I just want to add some color to this. Now it's going to fold. These two are going to fold in so we can see the design on the outside. So I want to add some blue here. That's the inside. And then I want to add some blue on the outside. And I'm just going to add a little bit of color to that flap. And then the same thing on this side. So I just wanted to make a little bouquet of flowers, and I just didn't want those flowers floating there. So I decided to create my own little flower holder. Now, to hold it closed, I'm just going to use a little bit of seal. That's the quickest way to get this to close. And I don't want it to be too flat. I want it to be opened a little bit. And then we're just going to, so it doesn't look like a complete ice cream cone, I'm just going to cut off the tip. All right, then we have a, hey Fran, little holder for our flowers. Let me just grab some basic white here. And I'll do this first, then this way I can just run it through the cut and emboss machine really quick. So I'm going to use these little flowers. They actually look like, what are they called? Like dandelion. After they've flowered and turned into those little pieces that you can blow. And I'm going to grab some soft sea foam, and we're going to just ink it up and stamp our flower. All right, so we have our little flowers stamped. And then I also, die cut one in basic white. And then I cut some sprigs out of soft sea foam. All right. But we're going to take this piece here before I die cut this, and we're going to grab some light soft sea foam, and I am just going to color these stems with the soft sea foam. And it's going to be very, very light. And then I am going to take some light lemon lolly, and I'm going to color in these little flower heads. And you could add more flowers to these little baskets. And then I have some dark Daffodil Delight, and I am just going to put a dot in the center of each of those flowers. All right, so we have our little flowers. We're just going to put that aside for a second. Let's pull this one in. I'm going to grab that light lemon lolly again, and I am just going to quick fill in these little, just dabbing some color into these little flowers here. And then these are different flowers, so I used the light bubble bath. And again, I'm only putting a little dot of color into these little circles. Just very quick and easy. And then I'm going to take some light soft sea foam and color in these leaves. All right. Let's just grab our dies. And I already have some tape attached. I'm going to have to cut this down, I believe. I don't think it's going to fit through my cut and emboss machine. So we're just going to line it up. I'd like to tape it down with some washi tape to hold it in place. Let me just quick cut this and line it through. Whoops. I could have used my mini cut and emboss machine. All right. So here it is, all nice and cut out. We can pull our card back in. And all I'm going to do is take this little cone and we're going to adhere it to the front of the card. So I'm just adding some glue to the center. And I just want to put this right here. I just want to make sure it's on there straight. And I added glue just down the center of this piece. And I got to be careful because it doesn't dry that quickly. Let's just make sure it's on there straight. All right. So we have our little holder for our flowers. I'm going to take one of the sprigs. I'm just going to add glue to the bottom. And I'm just going to tuck it in. And then I'm going to grab my flowers that we just die cut. And I'm going to pop this up right into the center. So I'm just going to tuck it in and add that to the center. The color is so light, right? Then I am going to grab the other piece of greenery, and I'm also going to pop this up. So I'm just going to take my dimensional, I'm going to put it right here at the bottom. Just the one, because we don't want to, you see the dimensional on the other side, but I'm going to tuck it in far enough that we won't see it. I'm just going to stick that down. Okay. I'm going to trim this little flower just a little bit, and I'm going to put my glue on the front side of this piece. I probably put too much. And I'm going to stick it inside this little holder, and then I'm going to press on it, and it'll grab it so it's glued at the top of the piece instead of the bottom. I'm just going to make sure. All right. So there is our little bouquet. The embossed paper is basic white. And I have a layer of balmy blue behind it. All right. And this is basic white, just colored with balmy blue. All right, now, oh, I did not cut my, how crazy is that? So let's get that double oval punch, and it's fine because I don't like, so we're stamping on the piece. So there's Lemon Lolly with the scallop piece of the double oval punch. And then I am going to grab, I think this is, yep, that's the wrong color. I'm just going to grab this piece here. And we're going to stamp The Best Is Yet to Come. Let me just get this stamp off. It's stuck really good. And I stamped it in balmy blue. So let's get that balmy blue, ink it up, and I'm going to stamp it right about here. And so I don't waste so much paper, let's just trim that off. Grab our double oval punch, and then we can stick it right in here. Make sure it is straight. And then we have our sentiment. So I'm just going to add a bit of glue to the center of my scalloped oval and lay down my sentiment, making sure it is straight. And let's pop this up onto the front of the card. So I'll grab some more dimensionals. And we're just going to lay this right here at the bottom. Just scoot it up just a hair. Let me stand over it. Okay. And I'm going to grab some Lemon Lolly ribbon. We'll tie our bow. So is anything new and exciting in anybody's lives? It's been crazy. I can't believe my granddaughter graduated from high school. How crazy is that? And she's going away to college in August. She was accepted into Bentley in Massachusetts. So she'll be going to Massachusetts in August. And she's very excited. All right, so I just grabbed a little glue dot and I put it on this cone. And we're going to attach our ribbon. All right. And then I pulled out some holiday rhinestone basic jewels. I think these are retired. And we're just going to add one there. And we'll add one over here. And there is the front of our first card. So simple but cute, right? When did I start having children? 12? No. But my children, my oldest was born in 81. Yep. So I was 21 when my first one was born. I turned 21 after he was born. He was born on the 20th of February, and I turned 21 on the 21st of February. But thank you. That was very nice of you, Karen. Okay, so Balmy Blue, 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And then we have some basic white, 5 1/4 by 4. And I did this very simply. I used the same stamp that I used for this flower here, but this time I'm pulling in some Balmy Blue, and I'm just going to do the top of this flower. So I'm just going to make sure it's clean, and I am going to put one in the center, and then just pull it down, and then pull it down. Just quick and easy inside of the card, just so it's February 6th. My daughter is February 7th. My son is February 20th. I'm the 21st. My sister's the 25th. We have February pretty well covered. It's crazy. And my grandson is February 4th. So we have lots of February birthdays. All right, so we're just adding some glue, grabbing our card. Whoops. And we're going to just get this down here in the center. And there is our first card. Just very light colors, but so pretty, right? Which Riley, Nan, can you believe Riley? She turned 18. Yep, Heather's February 4th too. She turned 18 this week or last week and then graduated. Unbelievable. Just very, very scary how quick time flies. All right, our second card, Sending Love During the Season of Growth. I used this vine die from the Coordinating Dies, Dainty Delight dies, and this is in soft sea foam. I just have to cut this piece out. Well, let's leave it for now so I don't mess it up. So I just cut out a few vines. You'll remember I used these on one of my other cards, that looked like the fence. You had your children when you were in your 40s. No, I was young. Well, in my 20s. I was done. My last one, Emma was born in 88. So we're going to start with 11 by 4 1/4, and we're going to score it at 5 1/2. And we're using basic white again. All right. Then I'm going to get, again, a layer of Balmy Blue, 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And then we're going to top that off with a basic white, 5 1/4 by 4. And again, I ran it through with the Time Worn Type 3D embossing folder. Hey, Dawn. And you'll remember with this folder, I like to look to see some of the words are in the right direction. I don't know if you can see, but harvest is right here. So there is a top and bottom. You probably wouldn't notice it really all that well, but when you know that there is a top and a bottom, You just want to make sure that you get it on there right. So I am just adhering the embossed layer to the Balmy Blue, and then the finished layer to the front of my card. I just want to remind everybody, tomorrow is Fun Fold Friday. I have a really cool card for you tomorrow. Let me just make sure. Yep. I'm changing it. I know. Right, man? I know. It's crazy. Oh, it's terrible. Hello, hello. My Fun Fold Friday on YouTube is going to be at 10 a.m. instead of 11 tomorrow. All right. Now I'm going to pop up a layer of Balmy Blue. And this measures 4 1/8 by 2 7/8. And then I'm going to layer it up again with Balmy Blue. That is 4 by 2 3/4. Now what I forgot to do, and I'm going to do it really quick. Let me see where my folder is. I hope I'm going to do it quick. Maybe I won't be doing it quick. Oh, here it is. I am going to quickly run it through with the time worn type. Now you remember, oh, I have stuff on it. This line and the Stampin' Up logo is the front of the embossing folder. So you just want to line it up at that line and hold it in there. And then we're going to just quick run this through. Okay, I got the right sandwich. Yep. And again, you just want to, I got glue on this too. You just want to look to make sure which is the top and which is the bottom. There we go. And it looks like it's this way. We know. So we're just going to adhere this to this Balmy Blue layer. So yeah, like I said, my video tomorrow is at 10 instead of 11. And then we're going to just take this layer. I'm actually going to trim this a little bit. Just a little tiny bit. I'm going to take off the end here. And then we're going to pop it up onto the front of our card. All right, so let's pull our card in. Make sure I have the opening in the right place. And we're just going to center this right on the front of the card. All right. All right, so we're going to take our vines. And I already have one cut because it's left over from the other card. And then I'm just going to trim a piece off. I want 3 pieces. And this one I am going to trim off right about there. But I have to cut this piece out. It didn't come all the way out when I die cut it. And it's just so, there we go. All right. So I have 3 pieces of the vine. Then in this die set, there is also, Let me just see if I can find it. This tiny little die right here with 4 little flowers attached. So I die cut them in lemon lolly. I don't think I'm going to use them all, but I wanted to make sure I had enough in case I happen to lose a few. All right, so I did them in lemon lolly, but what I did first was I took a dauber and I took some Daffodil Delight and I just put some Daffodil Delight on each of them just to give them a little bit more color. All right, so I just dabbed a little bit of color. We're just going to move those over for a second. Pull in our card. Now we're just going to arrange, our vines on the front of the card by adhering them with glue. And I'm only going to add glue to the bottom of these vines. And I want the one in the center to be a little taller. Okay. And then I'm going to just layer the other two. And we're going to hide the ends so we don't have to worry about these ends. I don't want them all to be curved. We're going to hide this end with our bow and our sentiment. And then a little bit of glue here. And we'll just add that right there. All right. Now I'm just going to grab my pokey tool. Makes it so much easier. And I am just going to add some dots of glue to add some flowers. I'm going to put the larger ones towards the bottom, smaller ones towards the top. I might have to add some glue to that one. Let's add this one here. So I'm just randomly, let's put another large one here. Just randomly putting them around. Yeah, I'm just going to add a little bit of glue under that one so it doesn't swing around. There we go. All right, so we can just put this aside for a second. And I have some basic white. And this is, I think I mentioned, from Natural Prints. That's where this dye is from. And I cut it in basic white. And then I also cut it in lemon lolly. And then cut it in half lengthwise. So I can put one on the top and one on the bottom. But before we do that, let's grab our next sentiment. And this is Sending Love During the Season of Growth. I see a piece of fuzz. And we're going to pull in our Balmy Blue again. And I did put my label on so I can try to get this in here straight. I'm just going to stamp that right in the center. Now I noticed when I was adding this before, I don't think it's symmetrical. So I might have to move them around a little bit. So I'm just going to add this to the top, just so we have some yellow sticking out. Make sure it's on there straight. Then we'll grab the other piece and add some glue. So it just adds a little bit of color backing to our sentiment, so it's not so white. And we're just going to let that dry for a second. And let's grab another length of our lemon lolly ribbon. Whoops. And tie our bow. This is actually really nice ribbon to tie a bow with. It ties really nicely. Some ribbons don't, but this one is very nice. So who's ready for some Christmas in July? I'm going to be using a horse and sleigh for my craft box in July. I can't even believe I'm even talking about Christmas. Goodness gracious. All right, so just fuss with that bow a little bit. Make sure it's straightened out. I'm going to pull in my embellishments, and we can pull in our card now. So I'm going to pop this up onto the front of the card. We're just going to add some dimensionals to the back. And whoops, almost put it upside down. That would have been a trip. And we're just going to line this up right at the bottom. It should fit side to side. And I just want it touching right there at the bottom. And there's our sentiment. And we can grab our pokey tool and a glue dot. And add our bow. And then I'm just going to grab some rhinestones. We're going to add a large one to the bottom of our sentiment. And I'm just going to come up here to the smaller ones. And we're going to add it up here to the top of our card. All right, so there is the front of this card. Yeah, I have some good ideas with it, Sheila. I've been thinking about it even while I was waiting for the order to come in. So I have them pretty well designed in my head. We'll see. Sometimes they don't look exactly like you want them to. All right, so now for the inside, I grabbed the stamp that the flowers look like these little flowers, and the vine and the leaves. So we're just going to ink it up with some balmy blue, and we're going to add it right here to the inside of the card. So we pulled those flowers from the front to the inside. Now, for sharing my video last week, Cindy Howard is the winner. So Cindy, if you hear this, just PM me your address, please. And I will make the announcement in the group also. All right, we're just going to add this to the inside of our card. Whoops, let me scoot it up a little bit. And then we are done. Here's card number 2. And here is card number 1. So pretty little cards. Dainty little flowers. Thanks, Mimi Cakes. Thanks, ladies. So thanks for joining me tonight. Thanks, Nan. And I will see you tomorrow at 10 for tomorrow's card. I'm actually going to be using the Country Bouquet for tomorrow's card. I think everybody will like it. So thanks for joining me tonight, ladies. I will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. and that's Eastern Standard Time. And I'll talk to you soon. You're welcome, Fran. Bye, Margaret. You're welcome, Mimi Cakes. Have a great night.